Welcome to AlphaCars Service Center. My name is Dimitri, and today we're starting rust preventive treatment on a 2024 Jeep Wrangler. And this one is essentially a brand new vehicle. I think it has right around 1,000 miles, and it is a spectacular, I would say a really tastefully treated, optioned Jeep, and the custom leather coverings on the seats are really nice. You can see that right here. And what we're going to do well, not today, for the next few days, we're going to protect all this beauty with extensive treatments to various parts of the vehicle to protect this and to prevent rusting. We will not stop rusting in all areas, but we're going to protect the underbody. This vehicle has been on the road, and there was some road debris. So we already did the power washing of the underbody. That's been done already. The vehicle has been dried, and it's now in the bay for the next segment of work. So what we're going to do here, we are going to install paint protection film on the forward parts of the hood, a little bit on the fenders. There's not much left. A full grille will be wrapped with xpel paint protection film. The rest of the painted areas, we're actually going to do the windshield frame. That is an important part because these will get chipped and rusted. So that will get protected. The rest of the painted surfaces will be protected with paint ceramic coating. We're also going to apply ceramic coating to the plastic finish. And also we're going to apply ceramic coating to the roof, which is textured flat black finish. And we're going to apply ceramic coating to the hard tops on the side and pretty much all the trim and moldings around the vehicle. And what that will do, it will certainly extend the life of these components and will reduce fading substantially, because ceramic coating, one of the qualities, it substantially almost eliminates UV penetration. So that's all gonna get done. And then there's a little bit of prep work we're gonna do. The paint is awesome. It's almost new. We're still going to do paint correction. And then we also someone already tried to wax it, so there's a little bit of wax residue here and there on the plastic parts. So we definitely need to do a thorough and deep cleaning prior to the preparation. You can see the wax residue in some areas. It's not bad at all. And then what we're also going to do is do a comprehensive underbody treatment with wax oil products. I'll show you what those are. And for that, we're going to remove pretty much all the flares from the fenders. We're going to remove front and rear bumper. We're going to remove some of the skid plates. We're also going to remove these caps and spray the protective coating on the inside. We're going to do protective coating on the inside enclosed areas. So there are definitely, we're going to do quite a bit of rust preventive treatments to the underbody and enclosed areas. And I'll show you some of those products that we use. Actually, it's right here. So we use wax oil hard wax, which is right there. That's a phenomenal product. You can see it doesn't dry, it stays. I just got myself dirty with this, not a big deal, but it stays tacky and retains penetrating qualities throughout pretty much the life of the product. And then on the inside, we're going to apply a different product which has more penetrate clear product, and it's going to go inside the doors, rocker panels, fenders, and pretty much all enclosed areas that we can put our tools on and in. So anyway, let's get started here. So the Jeep is completely apart as far as the parts we needed to remove, and it's all taped off, and we can get started with the product application. The underbody surfaces are all ready, but as far as the parts were removed, you can see right here the two bumpers right there, the Fender splash shields, flares, Fender flares right there. And what I want to point out are these surfaces. So these are the contact surfaces that go between the plastic flare and the painted surface of the fender. And the vehicle has only been on the road for 1,000 miles, and you can see this line, it's already rubbing into the paint. And I can only imagine what will happen not very long from now. It will pretty much wear through the paint into the metal, will start rusting. And what makes matters worse is that there is actually an air gap here and the vibrations. So the sand particles will make their way in this gap, and it will accelerate wear through the paint. So our recommendation will be to actually, this is something new, we haven't done it this way, but it is pretty natural. What we are going to recommend to do is, this is the surface, that is the surface right there, that, so this is the surface that the flares are connected to, attached to. So we are going to recommend to apply the paint protection film in that surface. We'll custom cut it, put it in there, and then it would be a reliable solution to the problem we just described. Let's check out the underbody. You can see with the bumper removed, we have unobstructed access to all the cross members in the rear. We can get inside the frame horns, frame rails. The vehicle has been on the road for about 1,000 miles, and it definitely had a lot of road dirt already. Certainly no rust damage yet, because this was in the summertime. No chemicals on the road here. So we power washed the underbody, we air dried it, compressed air dried it, hand wiped it, cleaned everything, pretty much gotten in all the little areas, all the cavities, and we're now ready to apply the rust protective treatment. I'll show you a product in just a moment, but let me show you all the surface preparation we have done. You can see we taped off all the areas of concern, something that should not get coated, like brake calipers, brake rotors, for example. You can see it's all neatly wrapped in plastic and tape. And you can see the underbody, we cleaned it all. I'm excited for this vehicle because the protection it's going to get, it's going to be the very best you can imagine. And it's going to go on a properly prepared surfaces. So there's no dirt, there's no rust. This condition is going to be preserved in a matter of hours now after we apply the product. So we did a very thorough product application, and you can see we got it inside all the cross members, pretty much inside all the little holes. You can see it really everywhere. Yeah, that was the surface I was referring to for the paint protection film, to apply it right here. so that when the mating surface of the flare comes back in contact, it's not rubbing on the paint, because there were areas, I think it was on the front fender already, even after just 1,000 miles, but there's a wear mark. Yeah, right here you can see, if you look at this line right there, look at that. That is the line, that's the contact of the edge of the flare, fender flare. So the vehicle has been on the road not even a month. But in any case, I think we're gonna get that done with the vehicle owner's approval, and then it will pretty much start from here and we'll go around on all four wheel wells. And as far as the product application, we're at the stage where we lowered the plastic, and then we're hitting the areas that otherwise were not accessible with the plastic on the vehicle. You can now see the brake system parts are masked off. On this vehicle, we are coating the shocks because they had very little protection. You can see all the suspension parts, they're coated and now protected. Again, all the cross members are sprayed from inside. You can see the product is inside the frame rails, and that the product application was just, it's a very time consuming when done properly, and that's certainly the only way we would do it. But you can see we're hitting all the little extra spots that we couldn't get when the vehicle had the protective film on it. So as you can see, the fumes come out of there, which means and you can see it comes out from here. So pretty much the whole underside of the sheet metal, and most importantly, the back stuff, those edges, it's all gets coated with the solution, protective solution. I'm going to demonstrate how this tip works. We already sprayed all this on the inside, but you can see how it comes out. Yeah, that's beautiful, because when we feed this into the rocker panels, and then we're also going to feed it inside the running boards, that's the type of spray it's going to do. And then if we retrieve it back, we pretty much spray the entire inside surface of the enclosed area. So before the assembly of the flares onto this 2024 Jeep Wrangler, we're going to cut and fit the paint protection film to protect these areas from the rubbing effect of the flares, and of course from the dirt that will accelerate the paint wear between the inside of the flare and the paint surface. There is an area already here we are going to point out, which is pretty amazing. This line right here, you can see right there. It's, again, the vehicle has been on the road for less than a month, and it already has that imprint right through the paint. And as far as the protective coatings application, we're all done. The exterior finish, as you can see on the frame, the inside areas of the frame, that's all done. And then the enclosed areas are all sprayed and everything is capped off. You can see the condition of adjacent parts. Everything was carefully taped off, masked off, so it looks whole factory. In fact, if the factory did this coating, it'd be huge, but obviously it adds a lot of cost for them. So that's, you can see everything was masked off. And we also did the bumpers on the inside. They're all coated nice and tacky and protected now. Both bumpers and the Jeep underbody. And if we take a peek inside of the frame rails, you can see it's been all done and all the adjacent parts are still nice and clean, no overspray, and that's the way to do it. So we'll be doing reassembly as soon as the paint protection film is installed and the flares go back on the vehicle. So you can see the paint protection film application to the contact, to the area of that contacts with the flare. And you can see a pretty wide strip of paint protection film that goes here. And now it's going to be pretty much accurately trimmed to cover all this area and then protect the paint. So that's gonna do the trick for us moving forward, because when we install these back on the vehicle, they're not going to be in contact with paint. So we're close to starting the reassembly of the Jeep. And we ordered and received all the new clips for the, not clips, but the plastic rivets for the flares. And we completed the paint protection film. It's actually, you can't even, I mean, you can barely see the line right there, and then it extends all the way down. So pretty much any contact between the flare and the paint is all protected. So we're also going to replace, we were very lucky, most of the clips survived removal and the tabs are still there and look great, but we still have these in stock, so we're going to replace the ones that that look weak. So we are doing the assembly. And you can see here, here's the paint protection film. And I have a serious source of light to be able to see, because under regular lighting, you don't even see where the film edge of the transition is. But that film now, as you saw in the earlier footage, is gonna make a huge difference on the how this fender is going to hold up. And this little streak right here, that's actually a very good sign. That's for those of you that saw the whole footage and you saw we were spraying product inside the enclosed sections of the hood, underside of the hood, inside of the hood, you can see that's coming out. And when we do the vehicle pre-delivery cleaning and detailing, that's gonna get cleaned up. Here you can see the other side. The same thing here. Here's the film. And on the inside, we're not going to be able to see that because we already have the Fender flare that's already installed. And in the rear, things are just getting back together. What's interesting on the Jeeps, this portion of the enclosed area, just this very back of it, is stuffed with the foam. So we did spray the products around, and we did get as much product as we can around that foam into the foam, so it definitely is going to soak in. And here is the film right here. There you can see it. You can barely see it. You can almost, you have to feel it. Here's the edge of it right here. And then it makes its way across right here and right back here. We completed the assembly of the Jeep. It's back together. And the next step, we will be installing the chip guard. It's gonna go on the grille, on the forward part of the hood, a little bit of the fender left here, and one of the most important areas is going to go on the around the windshield, called windshield frame. So that's going to get done. We already started on the paint correction, getting that ready for the ceramic coating, which will be applied right after the paint protection film is done. And as far as the underbody, that's been all done and it looks absolutely gorgeous. So we're doing paint protection film on the 2024 Jeep Wrangler. And you see we're doing the hood, and this is what we call partial hood, but on this particular vehicle, instead of usually about a foot in, we're going 2 feet into the depth of the hood, so you see the line. And we're still in process here. The coolest thing we're doing with this Jeep and many other vehicles, when we install the film on the windshield frame, usually the templates, they stop right here, which is fine. It gives you good protection across the panel. What we're doing, you can see right here, we're actually feeding the film under the little lip of the seal. So as you can see, we're lifting up the seal and we are installing, we're pretty much feeding the film under the lip. So then when we release the seal, the lip of it is holding down. It's not the only thing that's holding down the film, but it is, now the film gives 100% coverage of that area. So we're doing it for this Jeep, we're doing it here, we're doing it here. We're gonna get the sides of the fenders, and we're doing it on the grille. You can see it right here. So that's gonna be a pretty comprehensive and thorough protection from little rock chips. And as you can see right here, we also wrap that around the edge so that anything that hits that edge is going to not chip the paint, is not going to chip the paint. We just completed the installation of the paint protection film. You can see the windshield frame is wrapped up with the film material running under the lip of the windshield gasket, which is time consuming, but that's the way to do it if you get someone to do it this way. And we certainly did it this way. On the hood, we removed these so we can get the film to the edge and under the edge right there. And then it extends over here. Here's the fender, which is extensively protected. The regular template brings it up to here. We have another foot on that. Speaking of standard templates versus custom, on this vehicle, the original idea was to do the hood and the fenders. We then realized the grille has to be done as well. And when we looked at the template for the grille, it would stop the film right here. So we experimented a little bit and it actually worked out awesome. We were able, with the same single piece, wrap the material another almost 1.5 inches on the inside, which gives another layer of protection. And then we also extended the film on these little sections. And we were able to do that because we removed the grille from the vehicle. Otherwise, the template brings it just up to this point. So these are all cool things that we did to this awesome Jeep, in addition to a very extensive underbody protection, rust protection treatment, as well as all the enclosed areas.
And now we've moved the Jeep to an open bay to prepare it for the ceramic coating process. So the paint protection film is all done as we've seen previously in this video, but now we're gonna polish the rest of the surfaces, and then the ceramic will get applied to really everything on the exterior apart from the tires themselves. So glass, painted surfaces, even the kind of coarse plastic of the bumpers and the flares, those will all get protected and preserved by a ceramic coating, as well as the wheels. And you may say, wow, the paint already looks pretty much perfect, but we're gonna make sure to make it pop even more, so to speak, and even any very, very light, marring or scratches that you can't even see on camera, we're gonna make sure those all disappear and that it's literally in a brand new vehicle condition.
So we finally did it. We completed all the work on the Jeep, and we're gonna show it to you now with everything done. Just to sum it up, we started off with practically a brand new vehicle, and we ended up with something that actually is better than new. Anytime I look at the ads, used to be wanted, now it's on the internet, and a dealer says better than new, and the car is 20 years old. So that's suspicious. But here, we truly have something that's better than new. We started off with the brand new vehicle quality, and we ended up with something better than new. In fact, much better than new. Why? Because it looks gorgeous. The factory original gorgeous paint now enhanced with the layer of ceramic coating. Also, the paint is protected with paint protection film. In fact, we use xpel product. And instead of using their pre-cut modules, which are time savers and they're super convenient, we actually did our own cutting and much better protection of the areas. And that is something we already showed in this video, but for those of you that maybe just scroll down to the end of the segment, it's everything from the way the edges are rolled, from how much material we rolled inside the headlamp indents or headlamp buckets, if you will. It is the paint protection film around the windshield, what we call windshield frame, and this is the one that we actually rolled. Not only we rolled it around the curve, but we kept going and we actually lifted the windshield gasket seal, and we pushed and adhered that lip of the paint protection film onto the paint. So now it is full coverage of the paint, including it is rolled even down there because we removed these covers. Also, while we're in a paint protection film, we're going to touch on the underbody. We will have to, because we did the underbody protection, and in order to do that, we removed the flares, fender flares, and a bunch of other stuff. While removing fender flares, we discovered that on 2024 Jeeps, we're going to be dealing with a lot of rust in the area between the flare and the fender. So we actually applied a paint protection film about, I would say, 1.5 to 2 inches, and I can feel it with my hand right here. You can barely see it, but there's a paint protection film now between the plastic, composite plastic material and the paint. So that's all done. And then we also applied ceramic coating to the flat black finish of the hardtop. And this is a great way to protect this material from fading, from being less absorbent to the dust and dirt. It's gonna be, you still need to clean it. This is not a magic thing, but it is going to make the cleaning much better, much easier,
and then the end result of that cleaning would be also much better. We applied the ceramic coating to the moldings, reveal moldings around the windows, the mirror housings, flares, and all the plastic trim detail. Speaking of plastic trim detail, all this we removed in order to allow for the paint protection film to flow under these elements, and that's the way to do it. We also removed the front grille so that we can roll the paint protection film around the edges and have the very best coverage. And we believe that this is definitely a great option. It is a bit more expensive to do it this way, but it is a relatively small price to pay that delta difference for the coverage you get. Because if you do have the paint protection film here, but then the inner part is exposed, and then that one little chip happens to be there, it's going to start to rust. And we have seen those vehicles. Also, often we see installed paint protection film on the hood, and the very lip of it is exposed over here. So that's not something that is going to happen here, as well as what we did, one more detail, we extended the normally partial coverage of the hood is up to here. We extended that on this vehicle. And by the way, if you could only feel the smoothness of the way this paint feels right now, it's amazing. The camera will not express that just because it's a camera, but take my word for it, it's amazing. This is absolutely amazing. So, and then you saw all the footage and all the extensive work we did to prepare the underbody to receive pretty much the best underbody rust preventive treatment you can think of. Not only we did the wax oil protective coating on the exposed underbody and exposed frame on all the control arms, we used wax oil product for internal enclosed areas, which again, for those of you that saw the whole video, you saw those segments, which is absolutely amazing. And we injected that in pretty much all the enclosed areas that we can slide the tube of our tool into. So that is going to make this Jeep not only last very, very long time, but it's also going to make this Jeep value retention. It's going to hold its value much, much better, whether the owner of the Jeep decides to keep it. They don't have to worry about trading it in 4, 5, or 6 years just because there are all kinds of rust spots, it looks unpleasant, and now it costs $10,000 to restore it. They're not going to have these types of issues, certainly not on that level. Could there be a chip somewhere? Absolutely. Could there be a rust spot somewhere? Absolutely, but it's not going to be the level of rust issues we see here in New England on pretty much any vehicles. Europeans do a better job than others, but if you have a Jeep that's been in New England for even a couple of years, certainly 3, 4 years, you look underside, it's so disappointing. And when you realize that was a $50,000, $60,000 Jeep and now it looks this way, that is a huge disappointment. And it certainly affects the value dramatically. So that's why you do what we did on this Jeep. And we hope you enjoyed this video. We thank you for sticking around. Please consider sharing, subscribing, and do let us know which videos you like the best by simply clicking that like button. My name is Dimitri. I'm here with Ian, who also covered important segments in the video. Ian, how are we doing? Did we forget anything?
I think we covered everything.
That's great.
Very thorough.
Awesome. So thank you, Ian. Thank you, all our viewers. And until next time.